All right, ready to dive into some serious money-saving strategies.
Always.
Awesome. Today, we're looking at this article called Three Essential Tips for Saving Money on Your Budget.
Okay.
It's online, and it's all about, getting that bank account looking a little healthier, right?
Yeah.
And I think, our listeners are here because they're all about, like, practical advice, stuff they could use right away.
Actionable stuff.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
let's get to it. The article basically lays out these three core tips, right?
Right.
Analyzing our spending habits, leveraging those cashback opportunities,
Yeah.
and then automating our savings.
So it's pretty simple, right?
Yeah, on the surface, but I feel like there's got to be more to it than that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's like each of those is just the first step, like a gateway to a whole strategy.
Okay, I like that. So let's start with the analyzing spending habits thing.
Mm-hmm.
The article talks about the 50-30-20 rule.
Yeah, that's a classic.
Yeah, but honestly, I feel like that's just scratching the surface.
Totally agree.
So, like, just for anyone who needs a quick reminder, the 50-30-20 rule basically says we should be splitting our income, right?
Yeah.
50% to needs, 30% to wants, and then that last 20 to savings and debt.
It's a good starting point.
It is. But what's really interesting to me is, like, what happens when you start actually tracking your spending on top of that?
Yeah, that's where it gets real.
Right. Like, it's not enough to just know the rule.
You got to put it in action.
You have to actually see where your money's going.
Exactly. And you might be surprised, those wants can really add up.
Oh, for sure.
More than you think sometimes.
That reminds me, there was something in the article's FAQ
Uh-huh.
about this 30-day rule.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
So basically, instead of, like, immediately buying something when you want it,
That impulse buy.
yeah, you hit pause
You wait.
and you wait 30 days.
It's like a cooling off period for your spending.
I love that. It's so smart.
It is. It's a mental trick, but it really works.
Yeah, it gives your brain a chance to catch up. Okay, so let's move on to that next tip, leveraging cashback opportunities.
Oh, yeah. The fun stuff.
Right. Who doesn't love getting paid to shop?
It's like free money.
The article actually mentioned people averaging, like, over $90 back
Wow.
just using Ibotta for their online shopping.
That's impressive.
It is. But I think it's important,
To be smart about it.
to be realistic, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, cashback's great,
It is.
but we don't want to go spending more just to earn it.
Absolutely not.
Speaking of the different ways to get cash back, the article had this awesome comparison table.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
It was like Ibotta for online shopping, then Dosh, which seems like it covers more things.
Right range, yeah.
Then there was Upside for gas and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and even some bank bonuses just for opening an account.
Yeah, you got to shop around, see what works for you.
Totally. And that's where it gets tricky.
Yeah.
Because we got to read that fine print, right? Like,
Always. The devil's in the details.
yeah. We don't want to end up paying more in fees than we're getting back.
Exactly. Got to watch out for those hidden costs.
All right, let's tackle the third tip,
Okay.
automating our savings.
Mm-hmm.
I love how the article called this the set it and forget it approach.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, like you set up automatic transfers to a high-yield savings account and you're done.
It just happens in the background.
It's like magic.
It kind of is. Takes the effort out of it.
Exactly. And speaking of effortless saving, the article mentioned this app, Chime.
Oh, yeah, I've heard good things about that.
It's got this cool feature that rounds up your purchases and puts the difference into your savings.
It's like finding spare change.
I know, right? Super easy way to boost those savings without even thinking about it.
And those little bits, they add up over time.
They do. Especially when you factor in this thing called compound interest.
Now you're talking. The magic of compound interest. Gotta love it.
Okay, now we're getting to the good stuff. But, not everyone's a finance whiz.
I know what you mean.
So can you break down compound interest for us? Like, imagine you're explaining it to someone who's never even balanced a checkbook.
Okay, so picture a snowball rolling down a hill.
Right. Okay, I'm picturing it
As it rolls, it picks up more and more snow.
getting bigger and bigger.
Exactly. That's kind of what compound interest does.
Okay, so our money's the snowball.
Yeah, that initial investment, that's like the starting snowball.
And then it earns interest.
Picking up more snow.
And that interest earns even more interest.
It just keeps growing and growing.
So, like, the longer our money's invested, the bigger that snowball gets.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
all about time and consistency.
Wow, okay. Compound interest, that's pretty powerful stuff.
It is one of the most powerful forces in finance, really.
All right, let's do a quick recap of the 3 tips we've covered so far.
Sounds good.
So we talked about analyzing spending habits, right?
Right.
Not just relying on that 50-30-20 rule,
Right.
but actually tracking what we're spending.
Digging deeper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And using that 30-day rule to, like, outsmart those impulse buys.
Yeah, that's key.
Then we talked about cashback opportunities, but remembering that it's a bonus.
Not an excuse to overspend.
Right. Got to read that fine print and compare our options to make sure we're actually saving.
Absolutely. Make it work for you.
And finally, we talked about automating those savings.
Set it and forget it.
Exactly. Setting up those automatic transfers using apps like Chime to make it effortless.
And letting compound interest do its thing.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground.
We have some solid strategies in there.
This whole deep dive is all about giving our listeners the tools and the knowledge to, take control of their finances, right?
That's the goal.
So they can build a solid foundation for their future.
Absolutely.
But we're just getting started. We've got even more game-changing strategies coming up.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
So make sure to stick around for the next part of this deep dive.
It's going to be good.
We'll be right back.
See you soon. You know, one of the things that really stood out to me in this article was how they talked about the difference between needs and wants.
Oh, yeah.
Such a basic idea in personal finance,
It is.
but in real life,
It's tricky.
so tricky.
Yeah, we've all heard that thing, cut back on your lattes.
Right.
But, sometimes
Sometimes those little things.
they're what makes life fun.
Exactly.
So it's not about, never enjoying anything.
No, it's about being thoughtful.
Making good choices.
Yeah, about what you spend money on.
Because what's a want for one person?
Could be totally a need for someone else.
Absolutely.
It's about knowing what matters to you.
And making sure your spending reflects that.
Your values.
That's where I think that 50-30-20 rule comes in handy.
I agree.
It's it's not a strict rule, right?
No, it's more like guidelines.
Yeah, a framework.
Helps you think about where your money's going.
And then make changes based on your own situation.
Exactly. Everyone's different.
The key is finding that balance, right?
Sure.
Where you're taking care of what you absolutely need.
But still enjoying life.
Having some fun.
It's all about balance.
Speaking of things we might need to cut back on, the article mentioned canceling unused subscriptions.
Oh, I'm so guilty of that.
Me too. It's so easy to forget about those.
It's like they just slip out of your mind.
Because they're often small amounts.
Yeah, but they add up.
And then suddenly you're like...
Wait, I'm paying for what?
Exactly.
It's like finding hidden money.
I know, right? So take a little time to review those subscriptions.
Can make a big difference.
Huge difference. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that I think is super important, but sometimes people forget about it.
What's that?
Retirement savings.
Ah, yes, the future.
The article touched on this a little, talking about automating contributions to your 401k.
It's never too early to start.
I know, and the article said it's never too late either.
True that. Never too late.
And you know what helps with that?
What?
That magical thing we talked about earlier.
Compound interest.
Yes. Why is it such a game changer, especially for something like retirement that's so far away?
Think of it like this.
Okay.
The earlier you start investing, the more time that snowball has to roll down the hill, right?
Right, more time to pick up snow.
Exactly. So even if you start small,
The small amounts can grow like crazy over time.
that's the power of compounding.
Wow, okay. So we're playing the long game here.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Thinking about our future selves.
Yeah, because retirement isn't just about, sitting on a beach, right?
No way.
It's about having the financial freedom to do what you want,
Travel, spend time with loved ones.
pursue your passions,
Whatever brings you joy.
without having to worry about money.
Exactly. Having options, having choices.
And the article mentioned one super simple way to make saving for retirement easier.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Direct deposit.
Yep.
Such a small step.
Huge impact, though.
Can you explain why?
Sure. It's all about making it automatic.
Yeah.
So a portion of your paycheck goes straight to your retirement account.
Before you can even spend it.
Exactly. You're paying yourself first.
I love that idea.
It's a mindset shift.
So we're investing in our future well-being.
That's the goal.
Speaking of investing, I'm curious about these high-yield savings accounts.
Oh, yeah. Those are great.
The article mentioned those a bunch.
They're a really good option.
As a place to put those automatic savings.
Yeah.
What makes them so special?
Well, unlike regular savings accounts.
Yeah, the ones that, barely give you any interest.
Exactly. High-yield savings accounts, they pay a higher interest rate.
Okay, so our money grows faster.
Much faster.
So it's not just about saving, it's about making our money work for us.
That's the key.
And it's all thanks to compound interest, right?
You got it.
It just keeps adding up.
Like a snowball.
Yeah. Okay, I'm really seeing how this all fits together now.
It's a system.
Makes saving so much easier.
And more effective.
We've talked a lot about automating savings, but the article also emphasized the importance of having a budget.
A budget is essential.
I know some people think budgets are, restrictive or something,
I hear that.
but I think it's actually the opposite.
It's about freedom.
How so?
Because a budget gives you control.
Oh, I see.
It's about making conscious choices about where your money goes.
Not just letting it slip away.
Exactly. Aligning your spending with what you value,
So you can live the life you want.
now and in the future,
Yeah, it's like a roadmap.
for your finances.
Guides you where you want to go.
With intention.
And remember, a budget doesn't have to be set in stone.
It can change.
Life changes.
It's a living document.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Speaking of flexibility, the article also mentioned this idea of financial freedom.
Ah, the ultimate goal.
What does that even mean? Like, what does financial freedom look like?
To me, it means having choices,
Okay.
not being tied down by money worries.
Not living paycheck to paycheck.
Exactly. It's about security,
Peace of mind.
knowing you're in control of your finances.
And that looks different for everyone.
Totally. Some people, it's about being debt-free
Others, it's about being able to travel
or retire early.
or just pursue their hobbies without stressing about the cost.
It's about creating a life that you love,
That's sustainable.
both financially and personally.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of practical stuff.
We have lots of good tips.
But there's one more piece of the puzzle.
What's that?
The mental game of saving.
Ah, yes. The psychology of it all.
Because, let's be real, it can be tough to delay gratification.
Okay, can be.
Like putting off those immediate wants.
To have some future reward.
That might feel really far away.
It's a challenge for sure.
So did the article have any insights on how to handle that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's hard to put off what you want now for something good later, you know?
It is. It's all about, it's about how we look at it, I think.
How so?
Like, instead of thinking, ugh, giving this up,
Right.
think of it as I'm investing in my future happiness.
Okay, so instead of focusing on what we're missing out on right now, we think about what we're going to gain later.
That long-term satisfaction.
Yeah. It's like choosing to feel good later instead of just feeling good right this second.
Exactly. And every dollar you save now,
It's a dollar that's working towards that, right?
it's fueling the life you want.
Financial security? Maybe travel?
Just knowing you're ready for whatever comes your way.
Oh, that peace of mind, that's huge.
It is. It is. Makes a big difference.
I'm already feeling better about saving just thinking about it that way.
See, it's a mindset shift.
It really is. The article didn't get too deep into the, how to actually deal with that mental struggle part, though.
True, true.
Yeah.
But they did mention one thing that I thought was interesting.
What's that?
Visualizing your goals.
Okay,
Really picturing yourself achieving them.
that trip I've always wanted to take.
Being debt-free, retiring early.
Using that to motivate you to save.
Yeah, exactly. Let that image push you forward.
Oh, I like that. It's like a little mental reward.
It can be.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps you focused on the bigger picture.
Okay, before we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want to leave our listeners with?
I'd say remember that saving. It's not a sprint,
It's a marathon.
It's a journey. All about those small choices we make every day.
Adding up to big changes over time.
Exactly. And don't beat yourself up if you slip up sometimes.
We all do.
It happens. Just keep your eyes on the prize.
And celebrate those wins along the way.
Even the small ones. They matter.
That's so true. Okay, we've covered so much today.
We have spending habits, automating savings, compound interest.
Even the mental game of saving.
A little bit everything.
I hope our listeners are feeling ready to take charge of their finances.
Empowered to make some positive changes.
That's what this is all about.
Remember, it's progress, not perfection.
Start small, build those good habits, and enjoy the ride.
And don't forget to have some fun along the way.
Saving for the future doesn't have to be a drag.
No way.
It's about creating a life you love.
And having the resources to make it happen.
So as we sign off here, think about what's one thing you learned today that you're going to try.
What's going to be your first step towards a brighter financial future?
Keep that in mind as we finish up. Thanks for joining us in the deep dive. Until next time, happy saving.